Year 105 AD. The Roman Empire is at its peak. Under Emperor Trajan, it pushes relentlessly toward the mountains of Dacia, rich lands fiercely defended by tribes that refuse to yield. You were born far from all that, in a forgotten village. Maybe on Campania's dusty fields, maybe along the damp banks of the Tiber. And today, standing before a Roman recruiting post, you decide to change your fate. The sign reads, Legion Enlistment, authorized by the Senate and people of Rome. Behind it, red standards snap in the wind. Patrolling soldiers march in perfect step. Armor gleams. Eyes stay cold. They don't look like farmers. They don't look fragile. They seem made of different stuff, and you're about to take the first step to become one of them. But before you touch a weapon, you have to survive selection. You're still on your feet, but now in front of a rough wooden table where three men, a centurion, an army doctor, and a scribe, size you up like livestock. No smiles, no pleasantries. Just curt orders and eyes that inspect every inch of your body. The physical exam is the first filter, and it has no mercy. Minimum height, 1.77 meters. Ideal for holding the shield, throwing the pilum, and marching without breaking down. They check your teeth, skin, eyes, hearing, note scars, deformities. A twisted leg or even strong body odor can get you rejected. Rome wants useful soldiers, not burdens, but the body isn't everything. After the exam comes the interview, and this is where many are surprised. Where are you from? The centurion asks. What trade did you learn? If you've hunted, forged iron, written letters, paced out distances, even your quick wit and sense of humor are noted. The Legion needs men who obey, but also men who can think. You realize Rome's army isn't just brute force, it's a precision machine, and every new part must fit or be discarded without a second thought. A glance passes between the evaluators. A note on parchment, a short gesture. You've been accepted. Don't celebrate yet. The next step isn't about promises, it's about illusions. You kneel before an image of Emperor Trajan, not as a mere man, but as a living divinity. Around you, other recruits do the same. Right hand raised, left over your chest, you speak the sacramentum. It's more than an oath, it's total surrender. You swear absolute loyalty to the emperor and the Roman army. You promise to obey without hesitation and, if necessary, to die without question. From that moment on, disobeying an order isn't just a mistake, it's a sacred crime, perjury, an offense against Rome itself. Then comes the gift. You receive the viaticum, a sign-on bonus in silver coins, enough, they say, to buy your gear or send help to your family. Smiles break out. Some celebrate, finally feeling valued, buying wine, new tunics, rings. For the first time, they look like soldiers. It's an illusion. Soon, someone whispers the truth. Everything you use will be deducted. Sandals, tunic, helmet, even the wooden spoon you eat with. Everything has a price, and it all comes out of your future pay. Lodging, charged. Rations, charged. Weapons? Of course, that initial bonus is a subtle trap, a gilded rope that binds you before your first marching order. Some recruits burn through it in a week. Others gamble, lose, fall into debt to their comrades, and start their military life owing the empire itself. You begin to understand, nothing here is free, not even honor. There's no time to brood. The Legion is ready to shape you by force. Dawn isn't over, cold bites your skin, dew soaks your tunic. You're up to the sound of clipped commands, no welcome speech, no explanations. Just the first march. 30 kilometers over rough ground, loose stones, slopes that tear your legs apart. Everything with a full kit on your back. Helmet, shield, sword, 2 javelins, dry rations, water skin, tools, wooden stakes, and your share of the tent you'll carry with 7 other men. In total, more than 30 kilos on your shoulders every day. And when you think rest is coming, you learn you're wrong. Time to swim. Yes, swim in armor, shield on your back. Cross rivers, wading or floating. Lash together, log bridges with rope. Hold formation even in the water. The instructor's logic is simple. If you can't cross a river with everything you carry, you'll die before you ever see the enemy. Slowly, your body starts to give. Blisters become open sores. Your hands bleed from hauling stones. Hunger lingers. Fatigue is constant. You march until your legs fail, and when they fail, they make you stand and keep going. This isn't just about making soldiers. It's about weeding out the weak and breaking the stubborn until they're useful. And the worst is still to come. When you finally see a sword for the first time, it doesn't shine, doesn't cut, and it isn't metal. It's wood, heavy, clumsy, unimpressive. That's what you'll train with. A replica deliberately heavier than the real thing, crafted to push your muscles past their limit. The logic is simple and cruel. Master the exhausting wooden blade, and when you grip steel, it will feel light as air, and your strikes lethal. Hours blur into the same drills. Horizontal cuts, vertical cuts, thrust to the gut, shield turns, stance changes. No choreography. Everything is functional, pragmatic, violent. Then come the straw dummies marked with vital zones: throat, armpit, lower belly. It's not a drill, the instructor shouts. It's an enemy. Kill him next. Formation work. You learn to fight as one body, shield to shield, shoulder to shoulder, advancing like a living wall. One break in the line risks not just your life, but everyone's beside you. The fear of making a mistake starts to hurt more than the physical pain, and then the projectiles arrive. 2/3. You learn to throw the pilum, the Roman war javelin, heavy with a tapered iron shank designed to punch through shields and bend on impact so the enemy can't throw it back. You practice the funda, the sling, hurling stones hard enough to crack a skull, and you learn to dodge because the enemy trains too. Combat simulations intensify. You enter controlled bouts, first with sticks, then with blunted steel. Every mistake, every lapse in focus can mean a broken nose, a dislocated finger, a hairline fracture. It's intentional. Rome is sculpting you into a weapon. Your reactions must become instinct, and that instinct must be lethal. You thought being a soldier was about fighting. Rome shows you that before any battle comes something far more constant: work. Every single day, without exception, you dig. Latrines, trenches, drainage channels, defensive ditches. You pitch camps, tear them down, and raise them again. You fell trees, cut firewood, haul stones, build timber ramparts. You learn to set up and strike your tent in minutes, rain or wind, under a centurion's impatient stare. The real war is far away, but the machine is already turning, and you are one more gear in it. Each legionary carries a folding spade, a hatchet, a leather water skin, dry rations, spare sandals, and 2 wooden stakes, the bones of the palisade that goes up at the end of every march. When you reach camp, before eating, before sleeping, you help build a wall. Rome does not sleep exposed. You also learn to ration water, keep the camp clean, and tend the wounded when needed. It's not rare to see a legionary improvising a splint, stitching a cut, or cauterizing with red-hot iron, not because he chose to, but because he had to. None of this brings glory. No poet will sing the name of the man who dug 500 ditches. But without this, the army doesn't move. And if it doesn't move, it doesn't conquer. The Roman machine isn't held up by swords, it's held up by shovels. And it's precisely among those who work hard and obey without complaint that Rome starts to see who has real value. If you can do more than fight, you can rise. Most of your comrades can march, fight, and follow orders, but can't read a line or write their own name. In the Legion, literacy is a superpower. If you brought that talent, or were lucky enough to learn it during training, you won't go unnoticed for long. Officers watch, evaluate, and when they confirm you can handle words, numbers, and records, a door opens that many didn't even know existed. You might be appointed librarius, the unit's scribe, copying orders, recording reports, keeping the company's administrative files, or cornicularius, the centurion's right hand, managing pay, punishments, and promotions. You could become actuarius, in charge of distributing supplies, the man who decides who eats, how much, and when. These posts don't demand sword in hand, but they do require a cool head, attention to detail, and a rare talent for the time, making bureaucracy work. Most importantly, they pay more, carry more prestige, and form solid rungs on the ladder, inside the army and beyond it. Many men who hold these roles end their service absorbed into the empire's civil machinery, working in provincial offices, collecting taxes, or serving as magistrates as secretaries. In Rome, the pen can be worth more than the gladius, and when a commander needs someone he trusts to carry a crucial report or interpret a complex map, he doesn't call the strongest, he calls the best prepared. When the day ends, you don't return to a room or a bed. You return to the ground, leather sheet, bare earth, and 7 men with whom you now share everything. That's your contubernium, the squad of 8 who share the same tent, the same ration, the same load. You march together, dig together, fight together, sleep an arm's length apart. If one fails, all pay. If one excels, all benefit. Living is intense. There's no room for mass. You learn the smell of another man's fear before battle. Who talks in his sleep? Who snores? Who shares his bread even when he's hungry? You take turns cleaning armor, cooking, watching each other's backs. When one gets sick, the rest take care of him, because in the Legion, the enemy kills the man who stands alone. Each contubernium has a pack mule, a fixed spot in camp, in its own routine. Some create common funds to help the families of those who die. Others stay inseparable even after the war. There are bonds no imperial decree can break. These men aren't just comrades, they're brothers of survival. When real battle comes, the only thing between you and death will be the shield of the man beside you. And that is where leaders begin to surface. In the Legion, no one tells you you're being watched, but you are. Every time you solve a problem before it explodes, cool a dispute, organize supplies, or hold the group together under pressure, the right eyes are on you. If you stand out, a new title may arrive. Optio is the first rung of command, the centurion's right hand, chosen not just for strength, but for discipline, initiative, and the ability to keep order. He supervises training, tracks supplies, organizes guard shifts, and makes sure the centurion's orders are carried out to the letter. Most important, if the centurion falls, the Optio takes over. And if you're more than efficient, if you're reliable, tough, and obedient even in impossible situations, you can reach the most coveted post for a man of humble birth. Centurion. Now you command about 80 men. You don't march at the rear, you lead from the front. First into combat, last to withdraw. Your armor is reinforced, your insignia gleam, and your vine staff, the vitis, is a symbol of authority and responsibility. With it, you lead, and with it, you punish. The centurion is more than a fighter. He's judge in disputes, camp manager, mentor of new recruits. His name is respected, his authority feared, and his fate always uncertain. Because when the Legion takes losses, centurions fall first. Still, everyone wants to get there. For an ordinary man, centurion is the highest form of respect. 3/3 or almost. You can win every battle, save hundreds of lives, hold your cohort together in chaos. But there's a line you'll never cross. Even as a centurion, even as the best among tens of thousands, the true command will never be yours. Above you stand the military tribunes, the legates, the prefects, posts reserved for the elite, young men of the equestrian or senatorial orders who often never wielded a real sword. Some are capable, others simply privileged by birth. All have something you don't: noble blood. You might become primus pilus, the senior, most seasoned centurion of the first cohort. That's the highest point a commoner can reach. At that table, you sit with the legate, give strategic advice, influence camp decisions. Your name carries weight. You might receive land, wealth, honors, but you will never command a legion. You will never decide which city is spared. You will never chart the army's next move. You will never represent Rome before a foreign king, because Rome's machine runs on precise gears and invisible walls. Merit exists up to a point. Beyond that, those in the clean togas rule, men born to govern, while you were born to obey. Decades pass. Since that morning you stood before the recruiting post in a simple tunic, head full of doubts, body still unscarred. And now at last you've reached the end of the road. You're no longer a Miles, you're a veteranus, a man marked by service, recognized wherever he goes. In some provinces, you're considered local authority. You may receive land, full citizenship if you were a foreigner, a lifetime pension paid directly from the aerarium militar, the military treasury. Maybe you settle in a Roman colony, helping keep order on the empire's frontiers. Maybe you return to a village you barely recognize, scarred, posture commanding respect even in silence. Or maybe you never go back at all. Like many, you feel at home only within the living wall of men you stood beside for so many years. The empire's backbone wasn't made of speeches, it was made of ordinary soldiers. Men who marched, built, obeyed, and bled, their names forgotten. But now you know. And if you had lived then, the question would be, would you have had the courage to enlist in a Roman legion? Tell me in the comments how far you think you'd last. If this journey impressed you, subscribe so you don't miss the next episodes on real life in ancient Rome. And as always, may Mars guide you in battle.